Hi everyone, I'm Pocketful of Posies, and welcome back to my channel. Summer's upon us once again, and this year I'm planning on doing 3 summery doll customs throughout the next 3 months. I'm going to start the series off by making Pokémon Trainer Red, specifically as he appears in Pokémon Sun and Moon, all grown up and in the tropical Alola region. So with that out of the way, let's get started. For this custom, I'm going to use an Ever After High Dexter Charming that I've prepared off screen. Red is typically depicted with a neutral expression, if not an outright frown, and I wanted to emulate that. However, the Ever After High dolls have a bit of a smile on them, so I want to use this opportunity to practice mouth mods some more. I'm using teeny tiny bits of epoxy sculpt for this. I go back and forth constantly with water and smoothing while I wait for it to dry. Now I'm trying to make the face more of a frown, so I'm trying to turn the corners a bit more downward. Once the clay dries, I take a little piece of sandpaper and try to smooth it out. Keyword is try. At this point, I try to figure out how to make the clay match the rest of the body. It's kinda hard when you're a super perfectionist like I am, where I can't find an absolutely perfect match. Ultimately, I decide to use airbrushing to repaint the face. Only to change my mind later, and remove it with acetone, and accidentally ruin the neck. So I get a new body off screen and try fixing the mouth mod again. I go back to sanding the mouth to make the transition as smooth as I can. This is the end result. Granted, it's not perfect, but I can make it work. I get my Mr. Super Clear and spray about 3 layers before I start the face up. I'm not completely used to blushing on male characters, but I tend to do a lot of natural blushing on most of my dolls anyway, so I think it came out alright. For the eyes, I go a teeny bit past the eye sculpt to get that anime-style look. A big inspiration on this custom was looking at the Doll Fairy's videos, as she's done a lot of Pokemon-themed customs and can achieve that anime look really well. When I'm satisfied with the sketching, I can start adding the colors. Keeping with the doll fairy influence, I'm trying to render the eyes in an anime style. Here, I'm trying to improve on giving more detail to the eyebrows. At this point, I can start adding in the blacks. Here I end up changing my mind once again and color the eyebrows a little darker. I use a dotting tool to add the eye shines, and then I use a matte varnish on the pupils to finish the face up. To do the hair, I'm going to make some yarn wefts. I measure some strands, tie them up, and straighten them out. I'd recommend watching a Mazekito video if you'd like some more details on how it's done. Before I go any further, I make a wig cap with some fabric and 2 layers of Mod Podge. And just as I started gluing the wefts on, I decided I wanted a different color yarn and made some more wefts. I trim the wefts on each layer as I go along. Now I can start on the outfit. I like to gather fabrics and materials that best suit my project and then decide what to go with. With my Cricut and iron-on vinyl, I printed out a custom design for the 96 logo on Red shirt. When ironing the design on, I would recommend cutting out the pattern first, as it keeps the design from becoming crooked. I'm using a pattern from DG Requiem for the clothes. When I sew with knits, I tend to prefer hand stitching it, because the tiny size makes using a machine really difficult. When I did the jeans, I hand stitched some really tiny stuff before I took the rest to the machine. Then I realized it would also be easier to hand stitch the tiny pockets on too. For the hat, I start with some red fabric and interfacing. I get the pieces for the iron-on vinyl and fuse them on. Once the design is on, I sew the pieces together and do several fittings. I then decide to redo the back of the hat to make it fit better. And for the brim, I glue cardstock onto some fabric. And for the brim, I glue cardstock onto some fabric. Here I have the pieces I'm going to use for the backpack. I also have these Monster High boy shoes that I'll modify to get what I need. It took a lot of carving, sanding, and painting, but I somehow got it to work. I have some air dry clay to make this little band around his wrist. I used some printable sticker paper to customize this Barbie stand I have. I figured a Pokeball would be perfect for this project. And with that, I'm finally done. This project ended up being one of the most difficult yet. I think the mouth mod and the hat were what got me stuck for a bit. I'm hoping the next summer customs will be a bit easier. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!